Hello and welcome to Crusading Through Part 3. I'm Jim.
I'm Sam. I don't know why you did it like that.
Because it's the most epic
That's what happens
journey.
when I don't do the intro, for one.
Basically. So, welcome to the Crusading Through Part 3. I think we already said our names.
Yes.
If we did, I'm not going to do it again.
You're supposed to do... God, you gotta do it right. You gotta say, this is our Part 3 reread podcast, reading through arc by arc of Stardust Crusaders.
True. Thank you for catching me when I fell.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking today about chapters 66 through 69, which
Nice.
is the High Priestess arc.
The last main tarot card until Dio/Iggy, I guess. But the last villain of the week tarot cards.
Yeah, so no longer are we in not Egypt.
We are going
From now on, we are going to be in Egypt.
We are the Egyptian god cards now. So
I guess technically we're in Egyptian waters in this chapter. Or these
we're under
chapters.
Egyptian water because it's so stupid, what their plan was. But
So, just pretty much picking right off from last chapter.
Yeah.
A lot of these Part 3 chapters, immediately,
Yeah.
they end, as the next one's beginning.
the epilogue's in the beginning of the next arc.
Yes.
And I think as we discussed on last episode about the whole how terrible friends they are. So this whole thing...
we don't really need to go back into that.
this whole thing... This beginning of the journey, it's only been 2 weeks.
Which is kind of crazy. So, do we know what the timeline was? Was it 60 days for Holly?
It
was a long time.
Yes.
They had a long time to do this.
Yes, and every vehicle they do mention has had horrible fates happen to them. But yeah, it's only been 2 weeks. They got all those bodily injuries. They had time to go get Jotoro's jacket, a new jacket for him.
Avidal also, in a matter of, I'm assuming
He
less
recovered-
than a week,
yes.
was able to recover from a bullet to the head, which I know we talked about. It didn't actually penetrate his skull.
It just gave him brain damage.
Assumingly, it gave him a huge concussion, and then also a humongous stab in the back.
Which is the thing he had to rehab from, but you... It's the fact this man rehabbed, because it's probably
He rehabbed in
a week.
no time at all. Literally.
He got carted away, sent to this fucking island, disguised as a rich Arab man, they say.
Yeah, which is okay. That's really interesting. So this is just bonkers.
That just so happens to look, because we've seen his disguise. It just looks like Abdul's dad. It's not like he's disguised to be completely different.
Unless he did a different disguise to be the rich Arab guy.
Sure.
Well, because he mentions that this explicitly did the rich Arab disguise to buy the submarine. Because it was going to be something that was inconspicuous. Which, hilarious to say that sentence out loud. This is their inconspicuous plan, was to buy a fucking submarine. Who is fronting the money?
I don't know. I was going to look this up and I forgot to see how much a fucking submarine...
I would assume millions.
Not a military submarine, but
It's huge.
It's a huge submarine that they're going to have at a 5-man operation out of it.
I would say...
Where none of them know how to use that thing. Maybe Joseph's the only one.
So this is a bespoke, customized submarine, because they make the detail of, though, there's only 5 coffee cups.
Yes.
So this has got to be the highest tier luxury submarine. Is that a thing? Is that a thing that you can buy? I'm guessing if you're a wealthy...
If you're James Cameron.
If you're...
So, personal submarines, which are available for sale, cost anywhere between $16,000 to $2 billion US, depending on how big or military.
This one is massive. This looks like a a small nuclear submarine.
Hey, what's the Cold War time? Or right around the Cold War ending, or right around the ending. So
what? Russia?
The leftover subs from Russia. That
Russia just lost a submarine one day.
Just Russia. My good friend Stroheim died in your land. You owe me a sub, and they gave him one. He died proudly at Stalingrad.
So, okay, we need to get off the submarine thing. We'll talk about it more a bit later.
Submarine,
we need to put aside our complete insanity with the submarine.
It's also unbreachable.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
So theoretically, I basically can tell you why they did this. Is because Araki must have gone scuba diving.
Yes, okay.
And just wanted to have a scene where they scuba dive.
I did write Scuba Diving 101.
That is literally, my fan theory is that Araki wanted just to set up a scene for scuba diving.
I mean, he could have done that in what's it called? Blue Moon.
He could have. Maybe he didn't do it yet.
He had whirlpools in his mind for that.
Yeah, maybe he couldn't I guess because like the whole point of them like scuba diving here is because there's a scene where they see a bunch of fish and stuff. And, like,
also,
sea
yeah,
life.
he really wanted to draw fish or sea life, even though like it's probably like just a horrible idea. Also, just to go into the water.
It's just okay. So
it's a really cool roadmap of their journey, though.
Oh yeah,
I really like that.
There's like a 2-page spread, yeah, of like
it's,
every, and it has each tarot card of like each one they fought,
who they fought, like what happened, like the signature events, like plane crashed, or like. And like all those little things, I did enjoy. That's a really cool like way to kind of get like a clip show in one spread.
Which I have to assume that like some of these might be the first time that we've ever seen his design for this tarot card.
Yeah,
because a lot of them, I only
some
remember
just say
it
the names.
showing up. I remember like the Enya fight, it shows up explicitly. There's a few times you do see it, but it's really cool. And like the High Priestess card in particular, I thought was pretty funny. I don't know if you examined it.
I didn't examine it fully.
We'll talk about it. Of course, Death 13. Death 13 was also like overtly like Polnareff like catches the card. And
yeah, because he's about to show off in a dream. Where other one was just like, I don't have the money for a tarot card to throw at people. I'm just driving this buggy with a mirror on it.
Like it's cool to see like Tower of Grey. Yes, the fastest stand.
Not as fast. Lucky High Priestess ain't nearly as fast as Tower of Grey. So we also get the origins of the Friday meme. If you remember the JoJo anime meme of it's Friday, finally Friday. Yes, for a new episode of JoJo would air on a Friday. They would always be the
yeah. I know
meme.
that it's JoJo Friday because they always come on a Friday.
So that's where the panel came from. Was just like like Rome was to Egypt. Yes.
Interesting.
I thought like there it is.
I'm glad you're here to catch all the memes because I'm so disconnected with like JoJo memes.
Or like my favorite other variant of it was the Monster Moo one where it was just like instead of like the last word Friday it was Pappy. So yes, and we get the 5 cups become 6. This a whole arc is prop hunt or prey if you're not used to prop hunt.
I first thought of Prey because it explicitly like the branding and scenes in Prey with the mimics, it's always a coffee cup. That's like the gimmick that they always jump to.
It just felt like big prop hunt as well, which is all like really funny. It's just like prop hunt, but the stuff can attack you, which is just Prey 2016.
It's really hilarious how like quickly it just their plan completely failed. Like I would just love to have a moment where Abdul realizes like I just spent $14 million on a submarine.
I mean,
and it didn't even do its job.
Just like they say it was unbreachable. Kakun also said no one's ever deflected the Emerald Splash ever. Like
they also the whole reason I don't think we mentioned this, but the whole reason why they even did this whole charade was to
get across the Red Sea completely safe without being attacked by enemy sand.
So the idea is like, okay, well they wouldn't be able to track us if we're underwater. Also unbreachable.
Okay, and also
not true.
Also on this. Abdul knows about the High Priestess because she has a reputation because he talks about her and what her stand is.
Yeah.
So
it would have been nice if he'd mentioned that beforehand.
If you mentioned, okay, there's only like a couple tarot cards left, and we're assuming like I know one of them, which is that's left.
The way that my brain works,
I'm not
if
sure.
I was in this situation, I would be like, trying to figure out every single one, like running through a whole list, like, okay, this one does this. Where are we going to encounter this one?
I didn't read ahead this time for it, but like I'm not entirely sure like who knows about Iggy. If maybe because I think Joseph and Abdul are the ones to capture Iggy.
I forget all about this.
I believe so. I believe that's the case.
I think you're right because I think Joseph's the one that says the thing about the coffee gum.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure they show in the anime at least. They remember them showing him and Abdul like an image of them like chasing or trying to catch him. I'm like, so he knows 2 stands in. So the only one that they defaultly don't know is the world, which is obviously Dio's.
Yeah.
So like plus okay, it could turn to any minerals or like any this entire ship is like something you can turn into. Even the ground, the ground you could turn into. Like you shouldn't even know. You could easily warn them ahead of time. Like stand knowledge is like the most important thing in JoJo.
It really
especially
is
in part
like
3,
the way to win.
Especially in part 3, where it's so important to understand how the stand works to like combat it. That and part 5 are probably the 2 most like really focus on that.
I do like the whole gimmick of like the coffee cups.
Yes,
I think it's fun.
It's as I said, it's very like prey. They do say Among Us.
They literally do say the words Among Us.
So and also Joseph gets his hand cut, his fake hand cut off. There's like blood coming out. So I'm like, did he get a little bit more like cut, like amputated off his arm?
It kind of looks like that, but there's another panel where
it's just the oil.
Yeah, it looks like machinery.
But I mean, like,
and oil. It does look like blood.
Because like, if you just control the hand with Haman, it makes sense to be oil in his arm to control it better.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a nice little headcanon, but yeah.
It's just like, I mean, it's a thing, like, it's so fun to have a character, like, shonen manga loves to have characters lose limbs,
but it just
and
be
it's a way
like,
to do it with no
it'd
stakes.
just be like, because I put his hand back together, it'd just be like slightly shorter in the hand. But like, yeah, and then there's like, so High Priestess, I wrote down his goblin, but I do have what it's designed in my trivia about, its design is based off, like, African occult magic outfits they would wear for that.
I was gonna say that was the vibe that I got. I obviously don't know enough about it to like say anything, but that was the vibe.
It looks like one of those big masks they have. Yeah. You see like a lot in African cultures.
I really think it's a clever stand too, because I know I already made this like reference before, but it feels like an inorganic version of the Thing. Yeah, like that's just kind of the vibe, and
it's like inanimate thing instead of like disguising as living things. It has disguised as like inanimate things.
Yeah, which is objectively less interesting because I like the part with the dog and the thing.
But but the cool thing about this is just like it could just be any part of or like the submarine or like it's like it comes like the scuba gear. Like it's so cool that just like we're just saying really until they leave it, and then it's not nearly as cool.
Yeah, the problem I think with this arc, before we like really dive too deep in it, is like it just moves way too quickly.
It does.
Like some of the other arcs we had, like I think the last arc, the Wheel of Fortune one, not Wheel of Fortune. I always think that because it's like, oh, Fortune Genie, the
Judgment.
Hail to You Judgment arc. That one I think has way better like amping up of the stakes.
It's like the same amount of chapters, but it does amp up like progress. You get the initial setting, the first wish, the second wish, and then the conclusion, essentially.
Because it's literally like 6 pages before we get the coffee cup scene.
Yeah.
Which is like insane. Like that's literally like there's like no downtime. Like they're just rushing right into this arc. They probably made it like 10 feet in the submarine. Like the submarine made it like 10 feet off the...
because like you think of like the space between like I guess the from coast to coast or where they're going from is like not nearly that. Where I don't think a submarine was really like you may as well take a boat because the threat's gonna come at you anyway, and it probably would have been safer to take a boat than it was a submarine to go underwater.
Yeah, I mean you can get like speedboats. Like they go fast.
Because it didn't work against the dark blue moon, so why would it work now?
I guess you could also say, oh, the sun would just bake them, but I don't care.
The sun also has to be on a speedboat, but it's more easy to notice that. Yeah,
a speedboat with a mirror in front of it.
So we learned that because like I said, Abdul knows about her, and like her name is Midler, and can turn into anything as long as it's a mineral, metal, glass, plastic, and vinyl. So you want me to give you like, the Midler facts? Because she doesn't have a design in the manga.
Do the Midler facts, Sam. Do them.
I do my Sam looked at the Wikipedia fact, but they're pretty interesting because I get to talk about Heritage of the Future because this is where her design comes from, and Iraqi used this design after he. Do
we want to just maybe run through it? Wait, how much time? No, yeah, do your Midler facts.
It's not that much.
Do the Midler facts.
So basically, because she's a playable character in Heritage of the Future, the Kaka fighting game,
which was what, like a Genesis game?
No, it's PlayStation 1.
Oh, it's PS1. Okay,
it's PS1 and maybe another system, but it's also an arcade release. But so basically, Capcom went to Iraqi and just says, "Can you make a design for Midler? We want to put her in the game. Can you make like a belly dancer?" They asked him to make it like a belly dancer. So
that's really interesting.
So so basic design is from Capcom asking Araki to make design, and a lot of her poses and like facial pictures of her, because Araki was doing part 4 at the time. So a lot of them are just like straight up recreations of Yukako's reactions and like poses. Huh. Like if you go on the wiki, they have side by side shots of them.
Wow, that's really interesting. I didn't know that.
It's really cool to actually like look up and see like, oh wow, this is literally just taken from her, like her angry face and everything, and it's like certain poses. It's just it's really cool.
Because her design is pretty cool too.
Her hair like kind of flows like that, like Yukako's does.
Yeah.
So
it's neat that they did that. Like it's really what an era it was when Capcom actually cared about fighting games and like put this much effort into like creating characters for it. Hey, damn, wish that was now.
The last season of Street Fighter V has been actually pretty cool for the characters, other than Luke. But you brought Akira from rival schools, who is really cool. Take my word for it.
I heard about this. I don't know anything about it though.
So she's also named after Bette Midler, but in the dub, she's called Rose.
Oh, I think I was gonna say Riddler, and I got really excited.
I wish.
Riddler.
Yeah, and then that's basically all the facts about her. But it's really cool to see, like, if you take a second, look at the wiki, and you see the side-by-side pictures of the game art and Yukako. Just like what Araki is like. I'm just gonna use what I've used for Yukako on his mind.
I will try. I'll check the show notes in the description. I'll include a link to the picture or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can see what her design looked like.
So yeah, then High Priestess lets in some water into the sub. Polnareff mentions like the curse of vehicles that they have.
Also, yeah. So the one thing she does is she like completely immediately turns into like knobs, or she turns into like a gauge.
Yeah.
So she's completely like undetectable. Like they just cannot find her because there's a million gauges. And I love the way the internals of the submarine are designed. It's very like spacious. It's like kind of like 2001: A Space Odyssey. Like it doesn't really look like a submarine.
And we learned that High Priest is also not as fast as Star Platinum, so Tower of Grey is still the best.
I was literally gonna bring this up. Like, well, Tower. We know they should just say Tower of Grey whenever they say Star Platinum because already faster.
But it's cool when Jotaro like he catches it, it turns into razor blades, which I really loved, and like actually Jotaro taking damage is.
Yeah, it's also I love like this idea sticks in Araki's head because he just does it with Metallica later.
Yeah.
Like the idea of like spontaneously generating like straight razors is a really scary idea.
It really is, man.
Because especially the way that Star Platinum's gripping it. Like imagine full force gripping a straight razor.
He catches like two hands, like he's squatting, like trying to catch a fly with like a clap.
Imagine doing that with a straight razor.
And yeah, so
I mean, this is a really cool stand. I think this is like totally fine. I just think this arc is not written in the best way for the stand.
Yeah. Then he has the scuba, and you do Scuba 101 in like the first chapter spread of 68.
Which, yeah, it's really funny. Like, I don't know if this is an error on the Colored Adventure, but like we see like the scuba stuff, and then they like jump back to the characters for a bit, and then like we see the description about the scuba stuff, then it jumps back to the characters, which they don't have the scuba stuff, and then they like go back and they're scuba. I don't know. It just felt like a little strange to me.
That's fine. And the Iraqi want to talk about hand signals, and it's like, oh yeah, we can just talk to our stand, because that's a thing. This is
hilarious.
It's never touched upon in JoJo, I don't think, after this, other than like using a stand for like limbs or whatever.
This is such a hilarious scene. There's so many crazy parts of this. So first off, the whole scene is literally just Araki explaining how scuba diving works. Which none of the characters have ever done before.
So technically, can they only the ones with humanoid stands talk through them? Can Joseph talk through Hermit Purple?
He does, doesn't he?
I guess I don't remember.
I'll check really quick, but like
and also if you think about this in like future JoJo of like other characters doing this, I'm guessing Mista couldn't do that since they're like sentient stands that just like Sex Pistols talk on their own. They're just relaying messages from Mista to Unless it's like Mista said this, like I feel like Sex Pistols would be drowning in the water if they tried to go out there.
This is very much just like Araki had like an idea of like, oh wow, well stands can shrink. Stands can grow. Stands can just do anything. So why can't they just talk too? But then, like later on, it'd be weird to think about the stands talking through their stand. Like the way that they phrase that is very interesting.
What's it called? Like, didn't someone get their throat crushed or like? Bruno's not able to talk at a certain point. Remember in part 5? But like, if he had sticky fingers out, could he speak through sticky fingers instead?
Sticky fingers even has a mouth.
Like.
Well, maybe it's like the stand is also affected. Like Sticky Finger's throat also got sliced.
I guess. I guess so, but like it's just like telepathy essentially. What it be?
Yeah, it's just early stand powers being heavily undefined.
So like all people that have like ventriloquists or have stands because they speak through their stands, but it sounds like it's coming out of nowhere.
And then you could literally just be like a ventriloquist, like have your stand hold the doll, and no one could see it unless they're a stand user.
You would just be a magician too.
Yeah. Damn. Why do we never see like a magician stand user?
That'd be oh my god, it'd be such a cool arc just to have somebody you're not sure he's just a magician, actually does real. It's like kind of like the alien stuff, but like with a magician. It'd be really cool. Like just not sure he's a user or not.
How is there's never been a magician themed character in JoJo? It would totally fit in part 3.
Magician's Red.
Shut up. It would, if any part it would fit in, it would be part 3. Like Damn, I can't believe that.
Yeah, right? Like,
Maybe there's a Rohan one. I feel like I'm misremembering. There has to be.
I don't think so. Like,
Make it happen, Rocky.
There's not even like a part in the prison. There's not like a fun like magician that comes in to entertain the fans.
I want I want a Rocky to do like a Zatanna one shot, and give her a stand.
Zatanna from DC.
Yeah,
someone's been watching too much Young Justice.
Yep. All right, so they do the funny hand signs. They have a funny scene where
the epic handshake.
Okay, so well, before that big handshake, the reason why that big handshake exists is this is just another checkpoint for me of Polnareff is a huge weeb because he knows this very. This is like a thing. I'm guaranteed this is not a real thing.
Is it in sign language or is it just like them just doing like the symbols?
No, it's literally like it's hand signals that are like based off Japanese puns. So this must be something that Araki and his friends did when they were like children.
Probably.
Because the joke is that he claps his hands, which is a sound effect for pan, and then he does like two fingers, which is two, which is tsu, like pantsu, and then he does a circle, which is maru, and then kakyoin is like, oh, that means I can see your underpants. Why does this scene happen? It's so stupid.
I don't know.
Also, Polnareff is completely like dead serious while he's doing it. It's really funny.
They make the epic handshake,
which their eyes are like shadowed out for, which is funny. I need to watch the scene again from the anime.
Anime version's very good for that. So, and then the regulator for Polnareff is High Priestess and dived in his mouth. And then I love the image of Hairpin Green and Hermit Purple diving in with their tendrils into his nose.
I love that, of course, it's Polnareff. Like, of course Polnareff is the one that has the stand user jump into his mouth. It's so funny.
It's so gross. And then there's the image of it, they get it out and it just turns into a harpoon gun.
Which is actually, like, really interesting that it could turn into, like, a whole machine. Like, it literally can just turn into anything that's not organic.
Yes. And then, it's a couple other worries, but they get into the ocean and it turns into the seabed.
Also, I never fucking noticed this, but the submarine has "For You" written on it.
For you. It's Bane's. It's Bane's submarine.
Is this a Bane reference?
Yes, CIA.
He's gonna crash the
CIA was the sixth cup.
he's gonna crash the submarine with no survivors.
Yes, they expect one of them in the wreckage, Jim. So yeah, and then basically because they said, "Oh, you're right near the coast now." I'm right like off the coast of it, like so now that I'm so close, I'm assuming that's why she can speak through it now because she was just making goblin noises before.
Yeah,
it was like I guess it was on like autopilot to just attack them, but now it's like I guess she can control it. And
they also say it's now her powers are like a lot stronger because they're closer.
Yeah, that's what I said. But that's why before it was kind of like on like.
But it's crazy because like that was already such a powerful stand.
And I feel like, but once she got control of it, it got less powerful because she got her feelings mixed into it.
This is kind of like annoying because this is one of the most strongest stands. Like, if you really just made a suit around yourself of like, you could literally make a mech suit.
I played Heritage of the Future. She's really fun to play as, but she didn't use like a suit. She just kind of just uses this, just like kind of like a puppet user kind of thing.
I've never thought about this. So she literally makes a fully functional like harpoon in seconds. She could literally make like a fucking Gundam suit around her.
Yeah, probably could.
It would be awesome. Why would she?
And they turn to any metal. Like, what's like a deadly? Is there like a deadly metal or like some kind of like sulfur?
Mercury.
Can you turn to minerals? Like, turn to sulfur.
Sulfur just stinks. I don't know.
If you get a night sulfur.
Okay. Yeah, that's really There's so much like anything inorganic.
If she spent a time looking at the periodic table, she'd probably be good.
Yeah, this is like I think you can kind of chalk this up to like. Stand user stupid.
If she had Stardust Crusader knowledge of just knowing every little piece of info, or like a Part 5 knowledge of just knowing shit.
Yeah, she would be like super unstoppable. I never thought about the idea of making like a mech suit out of this. That excites me so much.
Yeah, because she turned to a snorkel, she could probably she turned a big harpoon gun. She turned to seabed if she's close by, especially how powerful it is now that when she's like next to it. And yeah, she basically eats them because she does a big seabed mouth. But she said like, "Oh, Jotaro, you're my type." But I do love Polnareff like go with it.
It's very funny actually. That's why this arc doesn't really feel like super scary to me.
There's no other than like I think like you get a couple hits on each of them, but no one's really.
It's just kind of like funny because like we had the kind of heavy chapter where like Polnareff had to deal with his sister seeing his like dead sister again, and like thinking he killed Abdul for a bit. And like this whole chapter, this whole arc is just like making fun of Polnareff, like putting Polnareff in bad situations again.
Before that, Depth 13, like how the fucking stakes on that one, like how serious it really was.
And then this is like a farce almost. Like it's kind of scary, the part where they're like in the mouth and the part where Jotaro is almost crushed. That's kind of scary, I guess. But then he just like,
and then you hear
he just gets better. He just gets stronger again.
So it's basically like in wrestling, because there was an era where John Cena kept winning, like no matter what, he overcame the odds. So that's why you always hear John Cena's music play, and then like when someone just fucking comes out of nowhere and LOL Jotaro wins, it's LOL Cena wins. So it's basically it's just the same thing. It just there's no danger. He's just gonna overcome the odds, and because he can punch harder than diamonds.
Yeah, and that's and
this has happened a lot. Just LOL Jotaro wins.
Yeah,
even it's like thing that just plagues him a lot in other stuff too, where if Jotaro's there, he just kind of wins, and yet you have to take him out, or he just has to win by default. Other than like the Rat arc's the only one I think of where he like he doesn't come in and just win automatically.
Yeah, and like there's other time like when he fights Killer Queen, or what's it called? Sheer Heart Attack.
Yeah.
That's not like a total victory either. But he's
Koichi
comes in.
Him and Koichi both together like get the win though. But yeah, he's more reliant with like Koichi. But yeah, but even at the end, he gets like the fucking last punches on Kira though. In the end,
it's true.
Which fucking sucks.
So yeah, I mean, I like the whole idea. So she becomes a giant face, swallows him up, then he just is able to like punch her teeth.
Yeah, for some reason he's just stronger than Diamond now. He just like there's nothing like. The thing about Star Platinum is just it's too strong in every field, and as we learn in the future, it's just also gonna have time stop at the end. It's just like you gotta have some kind of drawbacks to your stand other than just being the best.
I feel you. And it's not even like he's super close range, because that's what fucking Starfinger's for. Like
there's no threat. He
Starfinger's
he has super breath too. He could
he can suck. He got to suck.
Why didn't he simply suck in High Priestess?
Why doesn't he just drink all the water? Okay, so this is like going.
We just watched that video the other day of the man chugging the ocean.
Oh, Badlands chugs. So this is such like a minor nitpick gripe for me. But so they're in her mouth, and like they do the whole scene or whatever. Jotaro punches her teeth out, but inside the mouth, it just looks like a normal human mouth.
It's like they're swallowed by a whale. Like they're going for like the whole Jonah and the whale thing.
But the problem is that we've explicitly been told many times, the stand does not create organic life.
It has a tongue, and
it has a tongue, and these teeth are like just real teeth. So I know what Araki wants to do here, but I think it would have been more interesting if he literally had created everything not inorganically. Like if it was like a weird rubber tongue. I just think this is like the wrong way to end this fight. It just doesn't make sense with the way that he built up.
I don't know the anatomy of a stand. Are you just getting swallowed by like the seabed technically, and just feel like once he deactivates, it just be turning to seabed, or like what would happen? Like would they just wait for them to because they're not really they're in water in their mouth. It's like
no, she must have drank all the water.
Yeah, because his oxygen tank gets crushed, so he's just like in the mouth, fine.
Yeah, and they're the way they're talking, it looks like they're actually speaking. Like, it looks like they're...
Yeah. Like, I'm guessing it's like being in a whale mouth where it's closed all the time, so, like, for the most part, so, like...
Yeah, I don't know.
So, but, yeah, he beats her teeth in, it KOs her, by basically Pono checks on her and just sees that she's just no teeth left in her, but she was pretty hot.
This is such a minor detail, too, but I love that this whole thing happened with them wearing all of their normal clothes. Like, have you ever tried to swim wearing, like, a jacket, like... Jotaro has like 3 layers on at all times.
But what's it called?
Also, there's some really hilarious, like, Araki's proportions here are just incredible. Joseph is literally like maybe 20 heads tall in this one shot. It's amazing.
So yeah, so they arrive in Egypt. Middler teeth are gone, and yeah, we're here.
It just ends kind of. I do like this 2-page spread of like the big ocean. It's a nice little like thing, but it's just yeah.
And yeah, that's we're finally there. But also, there's a really good art piece from like one of the JoJo art books. It's like Midler, Mariah, and Dio like on top of Dio, and it's like really cool art, like cool. Leaning on Dio.
Epic.
But yeah, now we're on to the Egyptian god cards. Do you want me to do my Yu-Gi-Oh fact for you then?
What's your Yu-Gi-Oh effect?
So I guess we're ending with the tarot card arcs, or the tarot card villain of the week. There are the arcs they call the Arcana, and they're a whole gimmick based on each card of the tarot cards. And their gimmick is you flip a coin, heads you get a really good effect, and you get tails you get a really negative effect. And,
I like that.
And they're so goddamn bad that you don't even play them because it just
That sucks.
The negatives are so bad you don't even want to risk it.
I really like that concept though, but it does seem terrible in a card game to put yourself in a position where it's a 50% chance of getting a bad
There
result.
is a card called Second Coin Shift where you can do a coin flip again, but then again it is a 50%.
But still, at that point, okay, I'm putting myself in a 75% chance.
And there's better coin flip cards. Like I love the gift. I trolled my friend one time in a duel of just making a coin flip deck, and I won because I had thinking coin flip. But yeah, you're gonna make me come back every week with a new Yu-Gi-Oh fact, and I will gladly do that.
All right, before we wrap things up, I do want to do one last segment. Do we have anything else I want to say about this arc? I'm pretty much.
It was fine, but I guess like we said, there's some arc. They didn't play around, I think, enough with the High Priestess, because it should have been more in the sub than just get out of the sub, then just punch it once its physical form is big and we can just destroy it easily.
Yeah, having our characters in a submarine is very fun situation.
It's very
and nothing is done with it except the fact that they have coffee. I guess
they're in isolation in claustrophobic area.
It could have legitimately been a chill moment where the characters actually have a real conversation,
because they don't really mention if it was the Speedbound Foundation showed up with at a submarine and just them getting picked off by you have Speedbound Foundation members getting picked off by High Priestess or something, or hiding as a Speedbound Foundation hat or something.
It would have been legitimately where's Polnareff? We haven't seen Polnareff in 20 minutes.
Yeah, actually have a manned crew other than just 5 people running a submarine that maybe one of them knows how to pilot. But submarines are something that a group of people, depending on how big it is, because it's not a personal sub. Because this is obviously a big ass multi-man sub.
It would have been kind of neat if they did basically just kind of had the setup for the Dark Blue Moon arc again.
Yeah.
Where one of the crew members is a stand, but this one it's the subversion is that you just maybe it's a really small crew, and then you think that one guy is a stand user, but it's actually just this weird.
It's a stand attached
shifter,
attached to his keys.
Yeah, it's something I think that would have been a little more interesting than our main characters are just now piloting a submarine.
And it's also ended because there's a whole gag of she kind of had a crush on him and want to talk to him or talk trash. It's funny when it's just like a autopilot stand. It's not control. I didn't like when she speak through it. It was cooler beforehand, but
I kind of did but I liked the joke they set up with that.
Yeah, it's just but the payoff was just Jotaro knocking out her teeth and making
Jotaro doing violence against women.
Yeah. Jotaro really going to Killua move there.
But yeah, I think so I'm just kind of looking at this whole all of the arcs we've done so far because they have this really
cool
convenient roadmap. And the issue is I think that we could have trimmed a few of these totally away. And
at least some of them were a chapter or two, they weren't that long, which is good. I know the Devil wasn't that long, and the Sun definitely wasn't that long.
But just I think this arc had a lot of potential.
Yeah.
But it just didn't get the time it needed.
Yeah.
And I really think that rather than quantity, it should have been
Araki just wanted to get to Egypt.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you really feel it in this chapter. Like, he doesn't want to spend any more time than necessary with this fight.
As we've seen, like, we just skipped like a long stretch of territory, like through multiple points of this. Like, we just kind of get to a new place. Like, we kind of just get to India very quick after like they get out of like Hong Kong or Singapore, wherever they were at that point.
Yeah. So I actually wanted. Yeah, they went from Singapore to Calcutta in like one chapter. I think, which is insane. That's literally like almost the entire distance between whatever. It's huge. But I wanted to ask you, now that we're done with the tarot card villains, do you have a favorite of the tarot card villains? I will let you here. I'll let you look at the list if you want.
You have yours?
Hold on, let me pick mine really quick.
I thought you were giving me the tablet because you had yours.
You think I would have done that?
Because I have a couple favorites, but like I mean, our personal favorite is Tower of Greg for how OP it is, but
hold on, wait. I'm really like,
because like I like the Lovers a lot. I think the Lovers is probably one of the most fun ones they have in this.
Lovers is certainly a highlight. I'm gonna pick mine.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say Death 13. I really think that Death 13 is such a strong arc, like the concept is awesome. It really is like one of the most scary ones because the idea of like forgetting you're even in a fight is really good.
Yeah.
I think it's like, I don't want to say that it's like a sort of like formula that Araki does later, because there isn't really a fight like it, but it works so well on its own. Like, I think he really was experimenting with stands here.
Death Star Team does definitely a unique like setup to a stand of just like there's some very specific stuff to have it activate, and like when you get there it has this complete control over everything, but like. And there are some things you can do if you're lucky enough, or like can like have if you're lucky enough to survive the first time. But like it is very, I mean, Death Stranding definitely is up there, I think. But like I do like the lovers. Lovers are so interesting. Of just like we can't fight this guy physically because like the user's like taunting us and we can't like do anything because we'll mess up our friend.
Yeah.
Like I think that, and also just like Steely Dan is so fun. Just like,
yes.
Like especially him just fucking with Jotaro, it's so good.
From his introduction selling the kebabs to Jotoro's whole interaction with him, it's really good. It's just
it's the one of the few times where Jotaro being a nerd of like wanting to get like be a cool badass actually is like has a good payoff and a good setup. Like it's the best one out of them. Like I didn't like it this much in High Priestess where he's like, I'm gonna beat you, he says, and then it's like, oh lol, Jotaro wins, I crushed your teeth because I'm punched the best. Even though like razor blades hurt my hand, but I can punch your diamond teeth.
Yeah.
My knuckles don't break from punches, but razor blades cut my hands.
Stronger than diamonds. Star Platinum's fist.
Get fucked, Josuke.
So yeah, and
I like Hangman's design and like the gimmick to it. Like it's so, especially in Heritage of the Future, that it has the coolest super in that game of like him coming out. But like that fight itself was just kind of like not the greatest, because like I felt like the placement of Hangman and the Emperor was just like way too soon.
It is like immensely quick how soon Polnareff gets to like wrap up his story.
I love Whole Horse, but
yeah, Whole Horse. I was gonna like he's a real pick, obviously, but like I didn't want to pick him because I was thinking more of the arc. Like
I do like Yellow Temperance a lot though. Like of just like
that one's good too. That's similar to like I think the Lovers is just a better version of that.
Yeah, I just do love a lot of the interactions and just like seeing like a not Kakyoin do like a torture rack backbreaker on a random guy. It's like so funny to me. But like there's just like I don't like there's like the mini one like Strength and like Dark and the Moon are just like really quick. But
what do you think's the worst one then? Let's pick what's our least favorites.
The Devil is probably the most forgettable.
The Devil is probably my least favorite. I really dislike the stand.
Wheel of Fortune's it's not.
I like I actually really enjoyed the Wheel of Fortune arc.
Yeah, I think the Devil's probably the most forgettable one.
The Wheel of Fortune arc had like the benefit of all the characters bouncing off each other and like the really funny scene where Jotaro lights himself on fire.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
I think Devil, but like I think the big disappointment, just for like the build up, is probably Justice with Enya.
Yes. I would also agree. That's like a close second.
Because Enya for just being like a big one, like probably the number 2 to Dio, and
being so incredibly stupid with the way she uses her stand.
Connected to Jay Guile, like she has so many connections to like everything, and it's more of a comedy fight than anything. Like I did and like even the whole potential of cool, we can see Polnareff like the sword and the gun team up, and just to be like no, fuck you, you killed Abdul kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is just like if they told Polnareff that Abdul wasn't dead, he probably would have teamed up with Whole Horse.
I know, that's like what I hate the most about that part, because
they think you would have blabbed, and it would have been like he's been so happy that they're gonna know Abdul's alive once they see him. High Priestess knows now.
Ultimately, it was for naught because like
everybody's
the second they left, High Priestess was already on the fucking boat.
Yeah,
or sub like. So ultimately, it was completely like
they don't kill like
a waste.
There's a bunch of them they just don't kill anyway, so like they're gonna like relay the info back to Dio somehow, or like send a messenger bird to Pet Shop, and the Pet Shop will figure it out and like call to Dio.
Oop, my phone just went off. Sorry.
That's this.
Oh no, it's gonna keep going off.
Oh no, Bloodborne.
If I get one more, I'm gonna kill myself.
So
oops.
I guess for this first half, then, do you have any MVPs? I guess for character out of our Crusader team.
It's hard not to just pick Polnareff. Like
Polnareff
is just
the main character.
I have to say, Joseph gets a lot more love than I remember.
He's a lot of charm to him in this one, like, and he still feels like Joseph of old, mature Joseph.
Because he basically got his like focus ones right. Because we did.
He had the Empress.
The Empress, yes. The one I literally always forget the name of. It's hilarious that we didn't even mention that for like least
that,
favorite arc, but that one has like the fun.
Yeah, Joseph's fun in that. Joseph and Carrie, everything.
But no, so I think that one is like that's like the real Joseph focus. And of course, we get like Joseph focus in the Dio fight at the end, but
that and him Bastet, where him and Abdul.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so we get a little more Joseph.
And because I remember he talked about this last episode too about like what does Abdul really do in
post coming back.
And the only thing I think of was the Bastet thing, only to die again for to save Polnar's life, which is gonna give him even worse trauma of he sacrificed him survivor guilt essentially.
Yeah.
Like it's just like what
the trauma just keeps piling on.
Yeah, and it's only gonna stack up there from even post part 3. It's gonna stack up for Polnareff. Like,
but so yeah, for me, I mean, Polnareff is like I remember connecting the most to him when I watched the anime.
Oh, another thing, arcs like I really like the Cat Queen like introduction fight.
That one is actually really good.
I love how interesting it is, just like him like controlling the nurse and like Jotaro blowing up the school. It's really funny.
It's so incredible to see Jotaro actually in high school. Like,
yes.
It's hard to picture it, but when you see it, you're like, this is an 8-foot tall Japanese teenager.
And I did like the Abdul, like the whole interaction, like Abdul versus Polnareff, where they just fight and like. It's just like
I like that one too.
I like a straight up duel like that. It's just like no bullshit. We're just gonna fight like.
And that one has like the really funny like weird gimmicks,
the clock and everything,
clock thing, and like
Polnareff making Silver Cherry come out of the food.
Yes, which I love.
Like there's some really good some really good early ones. Even like Tower of Grey is interesting because like there's like the users in here we don't know. And this thing is fucking flying around and can kill us very easily.
Yeah,
not even Jotaro can save us.
I think it would have been interesting if like we could have combined the Tower of Grey, even though they were literally like the bookends of this arc. We could have combined the Tower of Grey and the High Priestess conceptually as one fight, just made it longer.
Interesting fact. So the Super Famicom, aka the Super Nintendo in Japan, they had the JoJo RPG, and they combine shit. Like there's like Death 13's like on a plane, and High Priestess I think is also on the plane. There's like they combine shit in the Super Famicom game. To, like,
that'd be even more scary if she was on an airplane because you couldn't run away from her.
Exactly. Yeah. So they just combine shit in the Super Famicom game. It has to look up like all differences in there, but it's fascinating. Also, I looked up. I read to say that I looked up Midler's arcade ending for the fighting game because she has to like, picks them off like one by one, and then Dio's like, "I need blood. I need your blood," and she fights. You know, she wins. She has one of those endings where she just dies, and she has her blood sucked out by Dio anyway.
I love it.
It fucking sucks. But yeah, definitely kind of put your favorite and least favorite of.
So your favorite, let's say arc / enemy. Like,
Villain of the week.
Taro, yeah, your Taro.
Your Tarot of the week.
And then yeah, who's your favorite Stardust Crusader at the moment? Assuming that you're reading along with us, which you should be.
Yeah.
Now that these actually come out on like a regular basis and not.
No, we get every like, a week or two they come out, so.
Yeah, I think it's like a bi-week.
We get more consistent with them, so.
That's nice.
We're getting better.
Yeah.
Now that we're here on the Egypt, we're gonna get to Iggy the Fool and Endol's Gib or Jib.
Jeb. Which I'm so excited to meet Iggy again.
Yes, and I'm ready to lose Cat Queen for the entire arc.
It's really weird to think that like we went from having 4 people like literally one arc ago to now we're gonna have 6 Crusaders.
And then one's gonna go away immediately. It's just funny. It's like we got one back, and then we're gonna get rid of another one, but not do anything with the one we got back. And the Cat Queen's so it's gonna be funny going through this and seeing what if Cat Queen was here instead, and if he kept Abdul dead and just had Cat Queen with the crew, and how he would have impacted like some of the fights. Like obviously, some of them are gonna be like not as like, he's not gonna really help against what's it called, Darby. The one Darby.
Well, actually, yeah, because the whole pivotal thing with that is literally just
gambling.
I was thinking of the gamer one.
No, that's the one Cat King that he comes back for and then immediately loses.
Still. Oh, that's right. He gets his soul taken.
Yeah, because he loses at F-Zero.
Yeah. So, JoJo.
Yes.
Part 3.
It's pretty good.
High Priestess, fine. It was okay.
Fine. Part 3 is pretty good.
It was really reading through it. It was very breezy and fun. But talking about it, I was like, you know what? I don't care for this arc too much.
Yeah, it's they seem to do this with a lot of like the female stand users are just being like weird sometimes, like
yeah.
Like I mean, because the next one we're not gonna get a female villain until Bastet,
and then that's it.
That's it.
Until part 4.
Unless you count the one with the woman on his back as his stand.
That's a half a.
It's a half. That's what you call a little vampire man with half a woman on his back. So, anything else, or just plug it up?
I really don't have anything else to say. I think, like, join us next time, as you said, for Gavin and Duel.
Jib. The blind man with the stand he sees through.
Little Iggy.
So, alright, and for that, thank you all very much for listening. We gave you your little comment prompt. You can follow the podcast on Twitter. You can follow me and Jim as well separately on Twitter as well. And
Yep.
you can also join the Discord. And I think that's... You can check out other videos as well, because we have stuff coming soon, because we've got break until JoJo lands, so...
It's true, we do not know how long this break will be. Perhaps 1 month, perhaps 3.
Or maybe Chainsaw Man to be in a whole year.
Oh my god. Yes. It's been so long since there's been Chainsaw Man manga.
We heard that there's going to be Chainsaw Man Part 2 and heard nothing about it.
Well, at least we know he was working.
Yeah, he got a one-shot.
Yeah, which is pretty... That was like a volume-length one-shot.
Check out our Jokakaka about that.
Yeah, with Medi, we talk about the... What's it called? Look Back?
Yeah.
We talk about
Shark
Look
Kick.
Back a bit. Yeah, we talk about Shark Kick. No, we talk a little bit about, like, Chainsaw Man and, like, anticipating for the anime. That was fun.
Yeah.
Damn, I keep forgetting. It's going to be so crazy, all the shit coming out in winter season 2022.
I know. It's going to be nuts. Netflix's JoJo Stone Ocean.
Oh my god, yes it is.
They'll get part 6 in sections. Or part 6 in slices.
We're going to be so busy because we're going to have Attack on Titan coming out.
Yeah.
We're going to have JoJo.
Yes.
We're going to have
Maybe.
Chainsaw Man.
Maybe.
Wait, JoJo? We're not sure.
Chainsaw Man anime, that's right. Chainsaw Man.
Oh no, yeah, I meant the anime.
Yeah.
Damn, I wanted to cover, like, all these things, but I don't know if we can do, like, Chainsaw Man 2. Maybe we'll wait until the whole season's over or something.
Yeah, some kind of... If we have the Jujutsu Kaisen movie, we gotta cover for Kai Quest.
If we can watch it.
If we go...
Because it might get theatrical release in Japan, so...
Yeah,
I don't know how long it'll be till we can watch it.
If it follows the trend of Demon Slayer movie and, like, everything else, they'll probably end up here.
It was fairly quick, yeah. I guess we will go see that
If we get a damn Konosuba movie in theaters around us, we can probably get the Jujutsu Kaisen movie around here.
Fingers crossed.
So,
all right.
And with that,
yeah,
I think that's everything.
Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, thank you for joining us on the Asia trip of this.
Yeah, the Asian. Yeah, oh my God, this whole thing has been in Asia until we're over.
We're in Africa, baby. Play Toto at the outro. The Weezer cover, though.
No.
Yes.
All right, bye.
Wrestle with Jimmy.